Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to build your German vocabulary from the ground up, and you can forget about those dusty old textbooks. We're going to construct the world around you, one essential word at a time, starting with these incredible foundational 50-plus building blocks.
So, here's the game plan. We're going to kick things off with the absolute essentials, how to say hello and goodbye. From there, we'll start piecing together a typical day, then we'll introduce the people in your life, and finally, this is the fun part, we'll add the descriptive words that make it all pop. Think of this as your starter toolkit for that very first conversation. All right, first things first. Let's tackle the words that open every single door. Greetings. Getting this right is absolutely key to making a great first impression, no matter what language you're speaking.
Now here's something you really need to know about German culture right off the bat. Context is everything. I mean, you wouldn't greet your best friend the same way you'd greet your new boss, right? Well, German has a really neat built-in system for this. Let's see how it works.
So, the very first distinction you want to learn is the one between casual and formal. For your friends, your family, people you know well, a simple hello for hello and tschüss for bye is perfect. It's relaxed, it's friendly, but in a more polite or professional setting, you're going to want to use the formal options, Guten Tag and Auf Wiedersehen.
What's really cool is that those formal greetings also change depending on the time of day, which makes total sense when you see it laid out like this. You start your day with Guten Morgen. Then, through the afternoon, it's Guten Tag. As evening rolls in, you switch over to Guten Abend. And right before bed, you'd say Gute Nacht. It's just this natural rhythm that kind of follows the sun.
Okay, think of these as your magic words, the absolute essentials for being polite. You've got Danke for thank you, and Bitte is this fantastic multi-tool. It means both please and you're welcome. How useful is that? Entschuldigung has you covered for excuse me or sorry, and of course you've got the simple but powerful Ja for yes and Nein for no.
So, now that we've covered the basics of saying hello, let's build on that foundation. It's time to talk about the things we all actually do in a typical day.
Let's just walk through a quick morning. Imagine, the alarm rings and you aufstehen, you get up. Then it's time for das Frühstück, which is breakfast. And finally, you zur Arbeit gehen, you head off to work. And just like that, with 3 simple phrases, we've basically outlined an entire morning routine.
Now, this is where the real fun begins, the actual building. We can take a verb, an action word, and pair it with a noun, a thing. For example, grab the verb trinken, to drink, and pair it with der Kaffee, the coffee. Boom, you've got a full thought, drink coffee. Or you could combine lesen, to read, with the post, the mail. You see, you're already creating little sentences.
All right, we've got our daily actions down. So, what about the days themselves? Are you ready to fill up your calendar?
Here they are, the 7 days of die Woche, the week. You've got der Montag all the way through to der Sonntag. And hey, here's a fantastic little tip. Take the last 2, Samstag and Sonntag, and you get das Wochenende, the weekend.
We've talked about what you do, so now let's talk about who you do it with. This section is all about the people who fill our days.
When we start talking about people, the most natural place to start is, of course, da Familie, the family. So let's look at the words for the people closest to us.
So here you can see the core family members. You have die Eltern, which means parents. That includes der Mann, the man or husband, and die Frau, the woman or wife. Then there's der Bruder, your brother, die Schwester, your sister, and a Kind, or child, which could even be a baby. It's a really cool little insight that der Mann and die Frau can also mean husband and wife, just depending on the context.
Okay, moving outside the family, let's look at friends and colleagues. And check this out, because this is a fantastic pattern to notice. Der Freund is a male friend, but to make it a female friend, you just add in to get die Freundin. It's that simple. And this same exact rule applies to der Kollege and die Kollegin. Once you spot this pattern, you've basically just unlocked a ton of new words.
Okay, we've got our people, we have our actions. Now it's time for the final layer, the words that add all the color and detail. It's time for some adjectives. This is where your language really comes to life.
You want to know one of the best ways to learn adjectives? Learn them in pairs of opposites. It really helps them stick in your brain. For instance, we've got groß for big, and its opposite, klein, for small. We have schnell for fast versus langsam for slow. and good for good versus besser for, you guessed it, better.
Adjectives are also absolutely essential for describing feelings. You could be glücklich, happy, or maybe you're feeling a bit krank, sick. You might feel einsam, which is lonely, or you can describe someone as being nett, which just means nice. These words let you add real emotion and personality.
We can also use adjectives to describe objects, of course. We already know klein and gross for size. But what about value? Well, for that, we have teuer, which means expensive. So now you can describe things by both their size and their cost.
And there you have it. You've just collected all the essential tools you need for your very first conversations in German. Seriously. From saying hello to describing your day, the people in it, and the world all around you.
So I'll leave you with this one final thought. Now that you have all these new building blocks, the nouns, the verbs, the adjectives, what's the very first sentence you would build to describe your world in German?